that comes up in your mind when you see a movie like that made by a young person? Troubled? Isolated? Caused by what? What is he projecting? The conventional schooling.
Yeah.
Which basically does what? It dumbs down people to accept anything that is around them, which also is a very good shot of the Adidas. The kind of feature of trying to look into a world, but not really in that world. But we are so dumbed down into that acceptance that we basically forget who we are, but still struggle, because we try to identify what is around us. We try to fit in. And even for the other side, that is bullying, etc., etc., that side itself is also putting into a certain kind of pattern and frame that society has actually pushed us in. Some of us realize, some of us don't realize. And alhamdulillah, here our people, our parents have realized and have stepped out and made the change and say, look, there's something new into this world. And for myself, to step out of that comfort zone and say, am I doing the right thing? Or am I just following what everybody else does? So based on that, I'd like you to ask me a question. You know, normally you have a situation with a talk show. They talk, you listen. You don't ask questions. Any lecture that's being done wherever, in whatever institution, they talk, you listen, and you have a lot of questions. But for the sake of a new development of a new society, I'm saying, let us open the road for our young people with the example that we set for them to open up doors to them. And in the process, also open up our hearts and our doors so that we can ask questions and get some answers. And I'm putting myself out there for their sake. And even that people want to ask, they don't ask because society has dumbed us down. They're going to say, we feel we don't want to ask the question because what are they going to think about us? What are they going to say? And we need to come past that point and say, I'm going to ask that question because I need an answer. And it doesn't matter what they think about me because I need to love with myself. One of the core questions of a person that's dying is, why didn't I do what I wish to do and stop listening to people without I am now dying and I never had the opportunity to do the things I want. And we decided to open up that floor and create a new talk show where we can actually interact, ask questions, and let us debate and let us cross-question each other and let the learner and the young people see the value of what is going on in our minds. Because some of our people, we go through our whole life and never ask the question. I think one of the big questions is, does she really love me? Or does he love me? Then they say, but I show it to you. But you haven't said it to me. But why must I say it to you? Because I got married to you. But I want to hear it. That's one of the, I want to hear it. And that says something about ourselves, who we are and what we need. So let's get out some questions, because I would like you to ask me some questions. And inshallah, I'm hoping that you will be able to answer some of your questions or guide you towards the answers. So let's break that mold of fear that we have. Because remember, fear comes from the negative energy that we have, that's existent in this world. There are negative energies and there are positive energies. Fear comes from a negative energy, which always says, what if, what if? And so we never get down to doing what we would like to do, just out of the negative energy. And if we try to step out of that and say, yes, I'm going to do it, it's something good, it's something good will come from it, irrespective. So let's hear from you. Some firing, heavy question that you wanted to ask but you've never asked before, but you feel like to ask again. If you want to say something right with this paper, but ask. I want you to feel free to ask the question. I'd like to ask the question. Yasin, any question?
She's upstairs.
Let's ask the question.
I don't need to ask the fiery question, but I'd like to ask the producer, the
Yes.
actor. Is that a portrayal basically of yourself or a youngster in your age group category, that lethargy, the listless, mindless soul dwelling around? I mean, is that just a feel that we get from youngsters in general, or is that you wanting to say something?
Youngsters in general.
It is.
In general, we did a slight bit of research on children, on introverts, on...
Questions? Answer the question? Yasin, can you...
Basically, on children that are afraid to speak, there was no words. The children that are uneasy or so on. So yes,
So it's not general, it's not youngster. It's a bully or pissed person that
I feel forced into a certain pattern or a state of mind.
because they didn't shock you. I'm thinking because they didn't like
This is, that's what I want to get from you.
because I'm thinking it's normal
This
all
is,
the time.
this is what the reality. And many of our children in schools, some of them act out and some of them never act out. In this particular movie, I did an assessment of him and I asked him, this basically presents a person reaching out in his own world, in the dream world, the powerful self that could overcome whatever is outside, but never have the strength to do it. So the person, as they call it in psychology, that particular feature of you find a crutch on which to lean on. The crutch that he found is his dream world, because within the real world it isn't. What is interesting is that he captured not what he is feeling, but what other learners are feeling in conventional schools, which is a continuous kind of lecturing and lecturing. And you must remember, a school is a reflection of the society. Whatever happens in the school happens in society. And that's why we stepped out of it and said, no, it doesn't have to be like that. We can create a new atmosphere, but only people that are strong can do that. People that are strong can say, I'm not going to be determined by the process of what society wants me to become. I'm going to become what I feel is right, what I feel is correct. And alhamdulillah, one can say, you can praise the Creator for giving them the opportunity to be in a space where they can actually be creative and reflect what other kids are going through. And some of them have actually gone through it and arrived here and feel the freedom of creating, and also cover the world that is so-called required. But the dumbing down of society is necessary for a government or a business fraternity that is exploited to exist. If you don't have an infrastructure of that nature, you do not have a proper capitalistic society. And in other words, it's very difficult for us to identify these are actually systems that make a consumer be a consumer and in actual fact buy into what you tell him to buy. You can't create a demand. If you take the self-esteem away from people, you can then tell them what they need, and then you can sell it to them as if it is a need. And if you have in actual fact made them so weak that they always have to depend on sponsorship, they always have to depend on the loan and the mortgage, etc. You take away their complete strength and you can sell them anything. You can sell them any product, you can sell them psychological treatment, you can sell them medics, you can sell them tablets. And there's one thing he actually took out of that, is the dependence on tablets. The actual dependence on tablets. The whole pharmaceutical industry is based on selling you a tablet on which you can find a crutch to lean on, so that you do not have self-esteem to step out and create your own world. You convince the person that is in need of you so that you can sell it to them. Because it's a danger if you make a person feel free. Right? But the question that I would like you to ask is how, and you as a member of the ICRA community, you have stepped out and said, I don't have to take on that particular pattern of life. I can step out and my children can step out and then come out stronger because we can see the world from another perspective. And that is an important part. And I train them. It is important for us to train our learners or our people and our children to be able to step out of themselves and look at the situation objectively and see how you can help. Instead of seeing yourself as a movie, constantly a victim. Constantly a victim. Whatever is busy, constantly moaning. I'm not immune to that. I also moan. I also moaned, but I also step out. Let's have some more questions.
So
Yes. Yes. Ladies first, as you said. Can I get this mic to work? Yes.
I just want to say that it's so common nowadays. It's getting worse and worse. And I think we've got some type of limit to bullying at school. Particularly one-on-one with the way the child can tell you, okay, that this is what's happening, then you can go to the school and then talk to the principal, the teacher, whatever process you need to. But after the bullying, there is still Twitter, there's still WhatsApp, there's still BB. How do you control that environment? Because everything now is up in the cloud, everything goes so public. Children post on Facebook of naked pictures of themselves, and they don't understand that when they get older, how much that is going to affect their lives as well. And I just want to know,
how do you relate to that? Okay. There's two ways in which you relate to that. Firstly, if you look at people that are very technologically informed, they will tell you, don't get involved in Twitter, Facebook, or anything. They'll tell you, because everything is recorded. Even if you clear your history, it's still recorded. So that is one way of informing people and saying, if you go onto Twitter, you go onto Facebook, you go onto WhatsApp, etc., you are exposing yourself. Now this has been written in comic books years ago. People who are our age, who have read comic books, those things were already pre-developed in comic strips. That there was going to be a time that people are going to know everything about it. So the first thing is, you have a choice. Do you enter into that particular world or don't you? And one of the features that one particular person was involved with this WhatsApp and Twitter and internet and emails, he found himself sitting on one spot all the time. And he saw his parents using it, but being able to live a life too. And he was realizing that he was totally trapped by this world. It's a imaginary world, it's a cyber world, but it's not a real world. He's not moving, he's not picking himself up, he's not walking out even. He's constantly watching his phone to see what SMSs he has. But if you understand that that is a form of low self-esteem, that you always need to be accredited, that somebody knows you. It's a weakness. If you can understand it's a weakness, that you want to be known and you want to be connected. if you can understand it, you're going to say, no, I don't need this in my life. I am a person that knows people. And if you can let your children identify that, and this is what we try to do, let them identify the fact that by being too involved in the cyber world says that you are in need of constant attention. And if you are in need of constant attention, you're going to weaken yourself. But if you give people attention, it makes you stronger. If you, and I always say to people, we have this habit, a person who always comes and visit us, we tend not to take notice of the person. But we will visit the person who doesn't take notice of us. Now the reason for that is because that person doesn't take notice of, and you want to be taken notice of. And the person who takes notice of us, it's an irritation. Instead of really just turning it around and saying, that person is the one who comes to me, I need to honor that person with my attention and be genuine about it. And that will open up new doors. And I am not in need of people that are really not in need of me.
Is it working? Because I'm having difficulty, I want to relax a little bit. If you come to the point where you say to yourself, I appreciate that person's attention towards me, then you've lived. You've lived the moment. But if you are nasty, in the sense you don't pay attention to that person, then you are not accepting a good feeling that's coming to you. That person will go out of his way to bring up his sisters, and you'll actually be looking at the person and say,
it wasn't actually sugared properly. I'm going to try and switch. Okay, I'm switching my phone. I try to be disconnected. Okay. And so we need to reprogram ourselves in terms of thinking more positively about people that are positive towards us. Because it's that vibe. You'll find later on, if you pay too much attention to people that you want attention from, they will abuse you. They will abuse you. They will actually be insulting to you because they feel you are totally in need of them, until you decide, no, I don't need this kind of company. And some people with knowledge will tell you, I don't know why you go there every time. You get insulted, you get into a talk with a person, but you always go there. Why don't you just release yourself? You don't have to be angry with a person, but you can release yourself from dependency. It's also a form of drug. It's not necessarily it's also a form of drug. Your internet, your Twitter, it's also a form of drug. It's a dependency. The moment you have a dependency on something or someone, then you are addicted. And if you are addicted, then you lose your freedom. And if you lose your freedom, you lose your contact. If you lose your contact with your reality, you lose your power. And if you lose your power, you will want to wear a brand name. Because you forget what your name is. Yes. It's very, you always have that test. You have a close family member or a neighbor that does that to you, because this is the test the Creator gives you. How are you going to handle it? Okay. The way you handle it is to actually have a positive feeling about that person all the time. You don't need to be in a person's presence, but you don't have a negative feeling towards the person. You only think about the person, but you never pay attention to it. Okay? You have a positive kind of feeling to that person. And that positive feeling to that person creates a positive feeling in yourself. And that person will lead it from you. But you mustn't do it because you must lead it from you. You must just do it because you need it yourself to be released. But you don't have to be angry with the person. You don't have to wish the person ill. I wish he could, knock his head so that they can see the reality. And sometimes you knock his head both sides and he still doesn't see the reality. The reality is that you need to release yourself from him or from her without a negative feeling.
And then you will find that the need to go there will actually go away. It goes away from you without you being angry with the person. You actually will pray for that person. And you will find that that person will actually respect you more later on. So, I don't know whether I'm answering that question. But it's a very, very heavy. And the question that is very interesting is, do good to your enemy until he becomes your friend. That's one of the greatest challenges. Be nice to somebody who's not nice to you. Now, the reason for that is not so that we become and feel that we are a weaker individual, but that we are stronger spiritually. That is the main thing. We must feel that we are stronger spiritually. But we mustn't say that he is not or she is not stronger than you spiritually. You can just say, that person is in a situation at the moment that the person has to deal with. And hopefully, I'm not really helping the person by being there every time. I'm actually taking the person down every time, because instead of allowing him to develop on his own, I'm actually giving an opportunity to be nasty to me every time he drops his particular position. So give him a break. Give him a break from your attention so that he can grow on his own, on himself. I don't know whether I'm asking that.